Hey, it's Jay. Welcome back to Lavender Living, a series where for every day in June for Pride Month I upload a video having to do with something queer. That can be about books or not. So today I'm talking about my favorite covers for queer books. I've got about a dozen listed. Some of them I have physically, some I don't. So let's get into it. So the first one is an oldie. It's been around for less than 5 years. What am I talking about? It's like a modern queer classic, and that's Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is a really simple cover, but I love the style of the illustration. I love that his head is like a speech bubble because there's like email communication and stuff, not direct messaging, but still, and I love this font, and the color is just popping. I don't really know what to say about it. I just love this cover. It's very simple, but it catches your eye because the red and like nothing, there's not really any small details. It's just like three main solid images that color the person in the speech bubble. It's attention grabbing. I love the cover. Okay, anyway. I'm not really going to be talking much about what the books are about, just the covers and the elements, and like if the elements have to do with the specific thing in the book, then I'll mention that. The next cover I absolutely adore is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. I like that they have Monty on the front. Like, I'm not usually a fan of books with images of real people on the cover. It kind of is just like, that's kind of like so 2000s decade. And I'm really loving the illustration trend that's happening this past year or two. But I really enjoyed that they had like a queer character on here because Monty is bisexual. And I love the font. I love the color that it's in, and the spine is the same color as the font. And then there's like a little violin, a little top hat, some cards, music note, a boat, because this does take place in the 1800s, and it has a whole traveling in Europe thing, and these have different significances in the book. So that was a cute little detail, because like if you look at it first you don't necessarily notice them, but then when you look closer you're like, oh cool, and then it pulls you in and you want to see what the book's about, and then you want to buy it. Tosh Hearts Tolstoy by Catherine Ormsby is one of my favorite YA books. It has like ace rep, and so that's great. But I love this font. I love pink and black together, and then there's just this white thing that is Leo Tolstoy. And you wouldn't always, like, when you are designing a YA cover, you don't automatically think, let's put an old guy on there, and the kids will be running for the hills for this book. And if you see it, then you're like, oh, it's like, you're kind of confused because Leo Tolstoy is historical, but then you see like all the hearts and stuff and the color scheme, you're like, oh, it's YA? What? And it's just, I think it's really cute, okay? Tokio Girls by Claire Legrand. This is a YA thriller. It's feminism, there's queer rep, there's like ace or demi, and then there's like a female-female romance, and I love this style of illustration. Like, I'm not really crazy about the font, but I love that it has one of the main characters on here, and it has like these moths that are kind of a big part about in the book. The fact that like you can only see part of one of her eyes and her hair's going everywhere, and there's the moths, you're like, what the heck is this? It's just really unnerving and beautiful. Let's Talk About Love by Clara Khan is one of my friend's favorite covers. This came out when I was a freshman, I believe. Still went to FSU in Tallahassee, and this came out, and the girl that was excited about this is black and asexual, and when she saw this, she flipped out because this main character is black, biromantic, and asexual, and representation, that made me realize, like, again, like, oh, representation's really freaking important. But again, I love that there's the black woman on there, there's an ace joke, Alice is about to ace this whole dating thing. I love the font. I'm a sucker for purple, it's my favorite color, and then just the contrast between Alice's dark skin, the purple font, and the white background is just really beautiful. Now for the books, I unfortunately don't have physical copies of. Some of them haven't come out yet as the time I'm filming this, which is mid-April, but they will have by the time this video is up. So again, Brightsiders by Jen Wilde. I read this last year, I believe, and I adored it. I love Jen Wilde. She has some really good representation, including this one had a gender queer, I believe, character and a bisexual girl, obviously because this cover has a girl with sunglasses and hair that is the colors of the bisexual flag, which is really cool. Like, again, I don't really like books with real people on them, but this one I make an exception for because it's so gorgeous and it's really simplistic, but you can tell right away if you know about it that this has queer rep. Some Girls by Rory James. I'm probably wrong, but you know, the cover's right here so you can see who it's about. This has a gender queer, I believe, character named Jamie who is realizing that they are, I don't remember the pronouns used, if they even had like explicit pronouns, but they are kind of like discovering who they are, and then there's like a whole binding thing and a very supportive brother in that, and it was just really wholesome. It was kind of written in poetry form, and so it was a really quick read. It's a really short book as well, and I just really loved it. And I like that there's an actual is it binding? Is that just what it is? It's just called binding? Person with a binding on them. If you were a binding and that's not what it's called, please tell me the correct name down in the comments because I'm flustering here. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret something, I believe. Again, the author's name is right here. I love this cover. I love the style of illustration. I love the color scheme. And there's bisexual rep, and I feel like there was demi rep as well, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't read it. I need to. I want it so badly because it looks and sounds really interesting. I think it's historical. I think there's like magic, and it's just, I just love the color scheme. That's the main thing. I love the color scheme. Like, I'm a sucker for jewel tones, so like pinks, purples, like light blues. I love, and so this book is really attractive. Felix Ever After. What is Kaysen? I didn't write down anybody's names. I should have. But this comes out in May. Did come out in May, and what I love about this book cover is that it has a trans boy with surgery scars. I've never seen that before, let alone in a YA book. But the fact that the character, like, one, the illustration's amazing. I love that illustrator. I've seen some of their other work. It's gorgeous, but the fact that the character has visible surgery scars is amazing, and that will do wonders for representation for younger trans boys that are uncomfortable about or like unsure about being trans, and like if they're shy about getting surgery and stuff, then the fact that if they see those surgery scars, then that's kind of beautiful. And the last book I have that I love is the first book I ever did a review for, and that's They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I love like just the different shades of blue used. I love how dark it is. And if you look in the sky area, you can see like kind of like a skull. And you can see the two boys walking together, and it's just, I love the shades of blue used. And if you open the book, if you have the hardback cover, then on the interior, before like the very first page with copyright or whatever, there's like a whole bunch of clocks, which is really cool, but the front cover is just gorgeous. It's so dark, but it still manages to catch your eye, even if it's not like a bright color or whatever, and it's one of my favorite covers ever, not even just for queer books, but ever. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. Those are my favorite queer books, or the covers for queer books. Tell me down in the comments what your favorite covers are. I, again, love cover design, and that's all I've got for today. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe, ring the little bell so you get notified whenever I upload. I upload every Wednesday except the month of June, where I upload a video every day for Pride Month. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Bye.